Boys, Ted kicks off. Who do you have as your winner of the weekend?
I gotta go with Saquon Barkley and the Eagles. He is on a run right now in the playoffs. Had another 100-yard game, three touchdowns. That's coming off of last week's 200-yard rushing effort. We had two touchdowns. He's been over 100 yards in every playoff game, and he started it off right today. 60-yard touchdown on the first touch for the Eagles. He's incredible. He's always been fantastic, but it's taken him a little while to really hit his stride. And I think getting out of New York was a major factor in that. He went to the right team, and they know how to utilize him. That running game they have is lethal.
That O line is so much fun to watch, but am I the only one? Like, does it look like Saquon Barkley is just so much faster than everyone else on the field? It's like he's
Faster,
moving at a different
stronger.
speed.
Yeah, and guys just bounce off of him. He's got great timing on, that spin move today on that run. As he's getting tackled by one guy, he spins and the other, throws off the other defender that's there to in position to make a play. And then, yeah, whenever he finds he's got a little clear room where he can open it up, it doesn't feel like anyone can catch him.
Can't fumble the ball if you're Washington.
Yeah.
Too many
That's how they
turnovers.
got here is they've been on the positive side of those.
It ended. I thought the game was much more competitive than the final score.
I agree.
That thing got blown open in the fourth quarter. What was the final? 55-23.
Yep.
But it didn't feel like that lopsided of a football game for three quarters. I I thought Hurts looked really good.
Yeah. It's the
The,
first game where he's offensively he's brought something to the table.
Looked good when he took off and run. He had the touchdown run. I thought one of the biggest plays, maybe the biggest play of the game, was when they went, what was it, 4th and 5 from like the plus 45 before the half. And they decided to go for it. And he just drops it in the bucket on the go ball to A.J. Brown. That was a
Yep.
beautiful
Beautiful.
throw.
Yep.
I,
I
I
mean, he
thought that
just
he was I thought he was excellent.
yeah, with how good their running game is, you forget about the fantastic weapons they have at wide receiver. It's just offensively, it is they have a really good setup, man. They are awesome on the offensive line. They got a dual threat at quarterback, stacked at wide receiver, and they got the best running back in the league. That's that's hard to contend with.
The tush push is under attack again.
Yeah,
People want to ban the tush push. There was a lot of tush pushing in this one.
there today there was probably in just two games there was it probably led the season in tush pushing. It was everywhere.
Banner day for the QB sneak on conference championship weekend. But what what did you think of how Jaden Daniels looked? You're never going into that game going, hey, we hope he has to throw it 48 times.
That's
Like
right.
that's not the plan. You get into a big hole, you're playing from behind. It just kind of unfolds that way. They didn't have much success running it at all. But I thought for the most part, like I was really impressed with the way that he played.
Yeah, I mean everything considered, he got sacked a couple of times, and it's just the game is totally different when you're playing from behind, right? And you have to get a little bit more risky, and teams can play, some better coverages against you and kind of force your hand a little bit. They're not nearly as aggressive. I think he really thrives off of aggression because of the dual threat nature of his game. Um, I, it's hard to not see that he's going to quickly ascend if he's not there already to being one of the best quarterbacks in the league.
That's if Tressway doesn't take his job. Keep throwing dimes on fakes.
100% on the day. Beautiful.
Perfectly executed from our guy Tressway.
Yep.
Anything
Yep.
else on that game? I Eagles look really good.
They look really good. They look really good. I mean, We're going to have a hell of a Super Bowl matchup.
I assume that's where we're going with your loser of the weekend.
That's where we're going. Yeah. Buffalo Bills,
Mm.
loser of the weekend. It's brutal. They lose by 3, 32-29. They led late. Credit Kansas City with a great drive, but they lost in 24 this year to the Chiefs. They lost last year at home 27-24 to the Chiefs. They lost in 22 to Cincy, but in 21 they lost at Kansas City in overtime, and in 2020 they lost at Kansas City 38-24. They can't get past them, man. They can't get past them. And you say what you want about the Chiefs, and like my favorite part about that football team is how good they are playing situational football. How smart they are closing out games, closing out halves, taking advantage of special teams opportunities. It's just they've got a lot of experience in big games, but they're nails in execution when they have to have it.
Did you think Josh Allen got that first down? It's
It's
not a great look. And
right.
I was sitting watching it on the couch with my wife, and I was going, oh no. Oh no. She's like, what's wrong? I go, the refs have different spots. The people, it was my initial thought. Anyone that was watching it and was looking at something like that, I go, oh no, this is going to be a big thing on Twitter. That was my initial reaction. And then Romo and Nance pointed it out and they circled them and did the whole thing. I went, oh boy, here we go again.
When I watched the replay, I just I couldn't tell. Um,
Get your pads down, Josh
I
Allen.
know
What are you doing?
I thought the worst, like the call that I thought was bad is I can't remember who caught it for Kansas City, but it was like a simultaneous catch down there, like on inside the 5 yard line.
Worthy? Like it was kind
Yeah,
of like up for grabs. It hit the ground, but the
it
ball
hits
didn't
the
move at
ground.
all. Yeah.
Well, it didn't move, but he didn't have it
No, the
when it hit the
defender
ground.
had it at the time and then took it from him.
Right. I thought that was an incomplete pass. It's
You and
tight.
a lot of other people on the internet.
It's close. Like the ball can hit the ground, but you have to catch it and secure it, and the ball can hit the ground. It can't hit the ground whenever it's not in your possession and then you catch it. That's not how it works.
I I don't disagree. Now, I think is that the one that McDermott challenged, even though it was going to be an automatic first shot. Like I think it was going to be defensive holding on that play,
Yeah.
anyways.
I think they would have had the ball like out by the first and 10 at like the 20 instead of I don't know, it was down near the 5 yard line. It's inside the 10 for sure. But maybe they score there anyways. I don't know. But I was like, that to me, that's an incomplete pass.
Two really good football teams.
It was. I really don't have. I mean, I thought it was well played. I thought Buffalo had an opportunity late and they couldn't do it. Kansas City got the legit stop. That Josh Allen was like it was their last possession was not great. you know, the opportunity to go down like this is our time to go win the football game, go steal this thing from Kansas City in their house, and no, couldn't do it. Now, it's not just because they failed. Kansas City has a hell of a defense, and they were fired up. And my God, did it look like it was loud in that place?
Dal- it, Dalton Kincaid should have caught that ball. Am I
I know.
crazy?
You know you're not crazy.
I feel like they didn't make that big of a deal about it on the broadcast. And then once Romo saw the replay, he was like, oh my gosh, he just like catch the ball.
It's like I think it was the fact that it was just like a floater that was in the middle of a bunch of people, and I don't know if he expected to get hit or
He was
I
falling to
don't
the
know.
ground, no one around him,
I know.
and just
And he,
dropped it. Or
yeah.
that's how I saw it.
Oh yeah, I was
Okay.
like I was yelling at the TV like, what is he doing? Catch the football. Yeah, I'm totally with you.
Did you see Mahomes scored that touchdown. And I thought he used his legs really well
He did.
in the game, especially like you mentioned, situational football down by the goal line, fourth down situations. Like that's when they use his legs. And he had the worst spike attempt I think I've ever seen. The guy is the best football player on the planet. He is. There's no doubt in my mind that that is true. But he tried to spike it and it just slipped straight out of his hand. It just flew it like flying into the sideline. It was incredible.
It was I think it was a fumble, the empty hand coming forward. Jim Nance, what did he say? It's the worst pass he's thrown all night.
It was I could not stop laughing after it happened. I thought it was the funniest thing ever.
I all things, and I thought, I mean, talking about the tush push, those couple of stops that Kansas City had in those moments on those sneaks was the difference in the football game. That one inside the, like, whenever they ended up going for two and they stuffed them, obviously the one late. Dude, there was how many fourth downs between these two games where there's a ton
A
fourth downs.
bunch. I mean, Buffalo went for it like six times on
Yep.
fourth down.
Yep.
But it was a great game. Those two teams, it feels like they always deliver for us. I
Yes.
feel bad for Buffalo that they haven't been on the winning side of one, but I've said it for years now, man. I'm taking the Chiefs until someone beats them. That's just where I'm at with it. And it was pretty cool. Obviously, super excited for Creed Humphrey. Going back to another Super Bowl. He's incredible.
How
He's
about well, P. Ryan got that last catch to ice it. How about that rush by Jordan Phillips?
How about that? That I experienced that, brother.
He just picked. Oh my God, that was
I don't
great.
think I don't think Jordan ever got me that bad in practice, but I know that feeling where he is just he's like a freight train and there's nothing you can do about it on some snaps.
He that
His
was wow.
best, dude, he's just huge and athletic as hell. He took that guard from Kansas City and sacked Mahomes with it.
It was it Tooney who
No, one, two. Tooney's playing tackle for him right now.
oh okay.
It was
Yeah, that was
66.
that was wild. I mean, he just literally picked him up and threw him into the backfield.
For a second, when it happened initially, I knew it was Jordan rushing. I thought he did it to Creed for a second, and I was like, "That's literally the best pass rush I've ever seen." To do that to Creed, and I was like, "Oh, thank God, it wasn't Creed; it was the guard." But it was, I mean, that was big boy stuff, and that was a huge play in the game because Kansas City ends up having to settle for a field goal there because they're so behind the chains
Yep.
because of that sack. It was huge. Now, Bills weren't able to go do anything with it with the ball the next drive.
Yeah.
That's when Kincaid had the drop.
Yep. No, it was a great game, and it feels like I don't know. I guess the Ravens always factor in, but it feels like it's the Chiefs and the Bills until someone else can step up and prove that they can go, take the mantle, at least get to that game.
It's the Chiefs, man. It's the
How'd you
Chiefs
feel
till it
about the
isn't.
matchup against the Eagles?
I I think the Eagles are the better team. But I'm not picking against Patrick Mahomes. I'm just not doing it, dude.
They're
I think the Eagles are better on both sides of the ball. Eh, Chiefs defense is good, man. They're really good. But I'm just not picking against Patrick Mahomes.
nobody in the NFL. They win a lot of games where they're maybe not the better team, and it's not by like they're by a huge stretch, but they know how to win. I mean, and we talk about it a lot. Winning is a skill, and no one is better at it than the Chiefs.
I'm with you. I I'm sure there will be plenty of people that pick the Eagles to win. I will not be one of them. It's just I'm gonna have to see him lose in a Super Bowl. That's just where I'm at with it.
I wonder if there's an early line out. There's got to be, right? I mean,
I guess we've already seen them lose in a Super Bowl, but you know what I mean.
Right.
They've won the
Early
last two.
line. Kansas City 1.5, -1.5.
Seems right.
Yep.
I'd be surprised if a lot of big money doesn't come in on the Eagles,
Yeah.
but who knows? All right, let's get to my winner and loser. But first,
We are brought to you by Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code OKBreakdown to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your sports opinions into real money all season long on Prize Picks. You just pick more or less on at least two players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. This week, I'm looking at the NBA board and selecting Donovan Mitchell to go over 20.5 points and Cade Cunningham more than 21.5 points in the Cavs versus Pistons on Monday night. Prize Picks puts its members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. When your picks hit, you can get your money in as quick as 15 minutes. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code OKBreakdown to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game.
and hey, are you planning an exciting trip this year? I bet something you might not be planning is learning the local language. Well, with Babbel, you only need a few weeks to learn. And here's a special offer for our listeners, and it's only for our listeners. Right now, get up to 60% off your Babbel subscription at babbel.com/Oklahoma. Don't pay hundreds of dollars for private tutors or waste hours on apps that don't really help you speak the language. Just use Babbel. Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons are handcrafted by over 200 language experts to help you start speaking a new language in as little as 3 weeks. And if you want a live classroom experience from the comfort of your own home, Babbel Live is for you. Babbel Live classes are available 7 days a week at any time of day and are taught by over 450 certified teachers so you can learn a new language on your schedule. Don't let the language gap hold you back from taking your dream vacation, people. If you want to speak more than one language, Babbel can help. Travel more and be more comfortable where you're going with Babbel. Get up to 60% off at babbel.com/Oklahoma. That's BABBEL.com/Oklahoma. Rules and restrictions may apply. My winner of the weekend, Dottie Pepper. Did you hear what she said?
No.
She first of all, she's everyone's favorite on-course golf analyst, right?
Gosh, she's fantastic. Been doing it a long time. What a job. How cool of a job is that?
She was a stud on the LPGA tour. Like Dottie, everyone loves Dottie, and her approval rating overly improved this weekend. Ted, did you watch any of the Farmers Insurance Open? Did you
Very
get
little.
eyes on it?
No, I saw some of the highlights, I think on Friday.
Well, it great ending. Harris English, wins. What was it? One shot over Sam Stevens. Sam Stevens had a great final round at Torrey Pines, battling the wind. But no one's really talking about that. Everyone's talking about the pace of play. And to Dottie's credit, she straight up called it out on the broadcast. I mean, she was like, "This is, we got to start talking about a different term. We got to start talking about respect for your fellow competitors." Dude,
Gee.
final group, final round on Saturday of the Farmers Insurance Open. They played their first 9 holes. It took 3 hours.
What's the holdup?
I
Sometimes they get stacked up on a course, but usually not on the weekend, and that's crazy.
Their final round was 5 hours and 45 minutes.
My goodness.
And she called him out on like the 10th tee.
That's wild.
She
I didn't,
basically just said, "Hey, it has to get better."
I,
And I think pretty much everyone's agreeing with her because last weekend at the Amex, Sepp Straka, he wins. He's in the final group, final round, 5 hours, 39 minutes.
Is that like part of his strategy is just to like drag the other players into the dungeon of slow play?
I I don't know, but like they clearly the TV partners are getting frustrated. And that's if you're the PGA Tour, that's when you start having real problems is when the TV partners get frustrated.
I feel like this has been a thing for a long time. Like they're threatening to fine guys for slow play and stuff, but doesn't look like it's working.
I feel like they have to fix it. No one
Shot
wants to
clock
sit and
like
watch
in the
golf for
TGL.
6 hours, man.
Shot clock like the TGL, man. That's the that's my favorite part of that is whenever the clock starts to run down, gets inside 10 seconds, and you get like the nervous sound coming from it. No.
Could it be as simple as you walk once you are at your ball, you have 1 minute to hit the ball? I feel like that's plenty of time for a professional golfer.
As long as you're not waiting on someone in front of you, absolutely.
I don't know maybe you have someone walk with each group that enforces it. I would love if they sat behind him with a big clock.
It is weird. Like sometimes a guy will hit a ball in a weird spot and he needs a ruling. And it's like there's two rules officials on the entire course at a PGA event. They've got to wait for the guy to come all the way across the course you know what I'm saying? It's like, let's get some more rules officials out there. And I'm with you. A minute to hit the ball. If you don't need a ruling and you've got a clear green or clear fairway wherever you're hitting the ball, yes, 100%. That is what started my initial hatred of Jordan Spieth was how long it took him to hit the ball. I thought it was like a performance every time to walk around and switch clubs and have a conversation about it. But 5 hours and 45 minutes is insane. Dude, I've played in some of the slowest like scrambles you can imagine where you're waiting all day long to hit the ball and it's faster in 4 hours and 45 minutes.
I'm not very good at golf, but if I stood over the ball as long as some of these guys stood over the ball, I think I would have a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
It's because these guys are professionals. It's their job. Like, I get it. But, dude, when I stand over a golf ball, if I'm standing over it too long, good thoughts are not coming into
Well,
my head.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I wonder if that's like, the only thing that's going to put you into a mental breakdown other than standing over it is standing by your bag and watching someone else stand over it for that long. I, I don't know. It's crazy.
Dottie was not happy.
I like it. Call it out. Call it how it is.
Dottie's criticism it started a discussion on the internet.
I did see a tweet where it had, Justin Thomas talking about what people don't want to see, and then they had like a live or an on-air interview of him instead of showing golf. Everyone's like, "This is what we're talking about. We don't want to see this interview."
That's pretty good. All right, my loser of the weekend. I know I said that I'm frustrated with the Mavericks beating the Thunder, but they're actually my loser of the weekend. They're just beat up, man. This is a team that went to the finals last year. They're currently the 9 seed in the West.
Woo.
Luka has missed a month with that calf injury.
Oh
Derek
God.
Lively is going to be out several months, it sounds like, with the stress fracture in his ankle. And now Maxi Kleber he broke his foot in their loss to the Celtics on Saturday.
Luka's going to weigh 285 if he's missed a month.
We'll see. We'll see what type of condition Luka is in. Now, Mark Stein came out and said that there is optimism that Luka will be back before the All-Star break. So it's got to be pretty soon because the All-Star break's coming up. So we'll see, but they are currently 24 and 22 and the 9 seed in the West.
Mm.
I mean, they went to the finals last year. It's not even a guarantee they make the play in right now, Ted.
Hey, the only thing better than beating the Mavs in the first round is if the Mavs don't even make the playoffs.
I honestly would feel much better if they didn't. Now, I would love it. Get Mavs Thunder first round series. I would love it. I absolutely would. But would I be terribly sad if they missed the playoffs entirely? No, I wouldn't be terribly sad. But they have no bigs right now because Dwight Powell has a strained hip. I mean, the only guy they have is Gafford. So I don't know. It's just a really interesting situation for the Dallas Mavericks coming off what was an awesome season, but nothing can derail a season like injuries. And that's
No.
exactly what has happened in the Mavs.
I've 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 seen this movie enough times to know that they will be playing their best basketball right as they go into the playoffs. Everyone's going to be healthy and they're going to be ramping up right whenever they go into the home stretch.
I I don't know, man. Big guys with feet injuries,
Yeah.
that's scary.
I'd love to see them miss the playoffs for sure.
I'll let you know here in a couple weeks how I'm feeling.
Okay.
Because I currently sit, I want the Thunder to play him in the first round. I just want him. I want them to stare the Mavs in the face and headbutt them in the nose and go through them to advance.
You got to slay the dragon, right?
Maybe that's a bad idea though,
You got
because
to
it's
take the
clearly
crown.
not a great matchup.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have time to think about it, okay?
Okay.
But they got to get healthy or else. I mean, they're not going to make any noise at all.
When's All-Star break? Second week of February?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it should be if Luka's supposed to be back before the All Star break, it should be in these. It's got to be in the next couple weeks. All Star game, so February 16th in San Francisco.
Hmm.
No thanks. I'll pass. No thanks. I think San Francisco is. We don't have to go down this road, but it is like the most overrated city in the world to me.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get why so many people love it. I've never understood it.
I'll take your word for it.
It's
I've never,
cold there. I don't want to go
yeah,
to California and be cold.
like in the 60s all year, isn't it?
I don't. I just don't get it.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm not cultured. Maybe I'm not civilized, Ted. I spent
I
my entire life in Oklahoma.
I've never been. I mean, I've gone there to play. I've been to like Oakland, flown into that area, but it's never really even come up as the place that I feel like I need to go to. So I think I'm good.
Do not recommend. Not a fan. Just not a fan. To each their own, but not a fan. I don't know. That just where I'm at.